folks. Another Doom. Oh, how you doing? Whatever. I tried doing this live, but a gigantic thunderstorm, as you may be able to hear in the background, knocked me off the internet live. Power's fine, but it's just the internet kind of gets screwy when this happens, so ain't happening. So I just thought I'd review it again. Let's go with New Warriors. Number 4. And as I said this before, I said again, this is finally all the team gets together. They finally all come together in this. They're not a team yet, they just happen to be fighting the same enemy. And pretty much this entire issue is just a gigantic battle royal. I mean, that's all this issue is, it's a gigantic battle royal. Nothing more, nothing less. And pretty much, Water Snake, Scarlet Spider, Nova, and Hummingbird are fighting these, and they're just overwhelmed. They're about to get exterminated. In fact, the evolutionary guy is gonna kill Nova, but then the cavalry arrives, so to speak. Sun Girl, Speedball, Rhino, Inhuman Guy, and the leader. I can't even remember that guy's name. I can't remember his name. But they arrive, and they proceed to have a battle royal. I mean, that's pretty much it. They fight all the goons and everything, and pretty much, Nova's the only one who has a plan of what they're going to do, and he's unconscious, and so Scarlet Spider does his thing. He wakes him up by cursing at him. I'm not joking. That's how he wakes him up. He curses at him. And he kind of tells what he's doing, that he built a machine to eliminate everyone with superpower. And he turns the machine on, and when he turns the machine on, everybody is just, going crazy, except Sun Girl. Sun Girl's not feeling it because she's a human. And so the guy kind of goes and asks, High Evolutionary kind of goes and he grabs her hand, he's like, come on, join me, everything's going to be okay. And she's not having any of it. She blasts a hole in him and hits, the machine that is doing that and destroys the machine. He doesn't die, though. I mean, he must be like some Nimrod Sentinel for that. You hear that, Storm? But anyway, that's how the issue is. That's how the issue kind of ends. Well, it doesn't end that way. It ends when pretty much they're like, what if they come back? What's to stop them? And then the guy, who's the leader, pretty much says, us, the New Warriors. And everyone has a different reaction. No one really agrees. I mean, Scarlet Spider's like, no fucking way. Hummingbird's really enthusiastic about it. Speedball's shit confused. He's like, what? Really? Are you serious? I had to, he's kind of confused, and, the Rhino Kid, the Inhuman, is like, no. Water Snake is similar to Kane, he's like, no. And Nova's like, I kind of have other things to do, so the only one who really agrees is Sun Girl. Everyone else is, really ambivalent to the idea and resistant. So they're not really a team yet. And it turns out that the High Evolutionary is doing this because the Celestials are going to come back to Earth and judge them. And if they're superpower people, they might eliminate them, or they might keep the superpower people. They might keep the superpower people, or they might eliminate the superpower people. You don't know. They always come and judge, race that they created or changed. But that's New Warriors. That's what happened. And I gotta say, this was good, but not great. The girl, what do you do here? Of course I do. Ooh, I don't know if this is enough. I don't know, I wish it was here. And it's weird, because I have this tape. Okay, I was rudely interrupted. I will probably edit that. But anyway, this issue was good, but not, great. And it's just I'm just gonna say this, it really needs to kind of pick it up a little bit. It needs to kind of turn it up a notch. At least one notch. Because it's it isn't at the level that I feel it should be at. Scarlet Spider was, consistently for me there. But this is not at the level it should be at. And it's just I'm going to check out the next issue or two, and if it doesn't turn it up at least a notch, then I'm going to probably drop this, so that's that. Next one is Ninja Turtles. Hot Cheetos. Next one is Ninja Turtles. Number 33. Anywho, this issue is not really about the Turtles. It's more about Casey Jones. They're back in New York, finally, after being in Northampton. But, what ends up happening here is that, Ninja Turtles just kind of dispense of some random thugs. That's pretty much it. And then they're doing this to hone their skills and just, practice for the foot. So that's pretty much only what happened, really, with the Turtles. And pretty much they come back to the lair. Leonardo goes with Splinter. Raphael doesn't really do much. Michelangelo doesn't do much. But Donatello and April kind of have like this kind of sort of heart-to-heart. Because April's saying how Casey is really disinterested in school. And that she thought that he was only going because of his hockey. To play hockey. And that his scholarship was taken away ever since Shredder stabbed him. So she's kind of saying that. And Donatello's kind of relating to her. He's like, we have this Technodrome. And, Krang is out there. And, none of my brothers are paying attention to me. No one's paying attention to it. It's like, he's just saying that no one's really concerned and paying attention. He feels like he's the only one who's devoting any time to it. There we go. And that's what he's saying. So they could kind of so they have that. But then we kind of turn to Casey Jones and Casey Jones' dad, Hun. And Shredder kind of has a heart-to-heart or honest conversation with him. And he tells him that, I'm the one who stabbed your son. And he says that, and he's telling him a bunch of stuff. He's saying that, he's telling Hun this, that I'm telling you this because, you've proven to be a valuable ally. That before I was just gonna toss you aside and discard you, but you've proven time and time again that you have worth, that you're valuable. That's why I'm telling you, you're having this conversation. And he's saying that you had to do something about your son. He has to join us. He has to join us, but he doesn't have to join us, but you had to do something about him. Because otherwise he's gonna end up being an enemy, and if he is, I'm gonna have to kill him. And he just kind of levels with him, and Hunt's just saying, I'll deal with him, don't worry about it. And what ends up happening is, Hun does, in the worst possible way, he deals with it. He goes to the bar, and he just fights with Angel's dad, and a bunch of people, like 2 or 3 people there. He tears this thing apart. Angel's about to confront him, and then Casey Jones finally shows up, and he says, Dad, if you want to talk, let's take this outside. So they kind of have this heart-to-heart in the alley. And Hun is just saying that, join the foot, come on. And Casey's like, no, they're bad news. And then Hun is just says, fine, if you're not going to do this, I care about you, if you're not going to do this, I have a lot of money. I will give you a lot of money, just go out of town, don't show your face, they're not going to come after you. Just leave. And of course, Casey just said, leave the foot with me, just come, and I'll go with if you go. And he says, no, I owe the foot, they put my life back on track, and, and so they end up at an impasse, and he's like, and finally, Casey says, so you're not leaving? He's like, no. You're not leaving the foot? He's like, fine. He's like, well, that makes my decision. He's like, I'm staying. I'm not leaving town either. And so anyway, that's how it ends. That he just walks away, and says some really, chilling remarks to his father, Casey. And Hun just tears up the paper, throws it down, and that's how the issue ends. So it opens the door for so much, because it's like, what's going to happen? Are they going to actually fight each other now? Is he going to turn against the foot? What's going to happen with the Technodrome? What's going to happen with Krang? What about the foot and Krang? It opens a lot of doors, for sure. But this issue was more or less, not an action issue, it was more or less to kind of get caught up with characters. That's what I thought it was. More or less to get caught up with characters and, to get everything caught up before they're going to start another story arc. But it was really good. I enjoyed it. It was a really good Casey Jones father-son story, I would say. Really nice. And, I'm telling you, Ninja Turtles really reminds me of kind of Uncanny X-Men during the Claremont stage. You have your perfect amount of action, you have your drama, you have your characterization. So it really reminds me of that. So I really enjoyed this. I don't think I pulled it again. I don't know. But the next one is Batgirl Annual number 2. I gotta say, I love this issue. It's not really about Batgirl. It's more about Poison Ivy. It's more, it says Batgirl, but it's about Poison Ivy. Let's get real here. And it is fantastic. I would love to see Gail Simone tackle Poison Ivy series, her solo Poison Ivy series. I think that would be fantastic. And pretty much this issue just follows Poison Ivy through the 4 seasons, like summer, spring, summer, fall, and winter. And it follows her, and it pretty much follows her through it. And at first, she's still on the bird of prey during spring, and she's euphoric, so to speak, because she's starting to bloom. Everything's coming in, all the flowers start to bloom during spring, and so she's kind of euphoric. And they're fighting the team, and they kind of notice that the team, Birds of Prey, notice that something is off. And she's acting off, like really off. And finally she says, someone whispers something in her ear, one of the goons, and she says, oh, nothing, isn't it sad? Which you find out later what that means. So that's what she said. And then the next issue follows her during summer. And at this point, she already betrayed the Birds of Prey, and she's, Batgirl gets his lead on this horrible guy who's doing terrible things. You'll find out. But, she sees Poison Ivy, and they're not there to fight. It's weird. It's like they're kind of old friends, but they're rivals, but they don't hate each other. They're old friends that they try to kill each other, but they don't hate each other. But they know they're on opposite sides. It's kind of like Lex Luthor and Clark Kent in Smallville, like after season, like towards the middle and end of season 5, that they don't really hate each other, but they're on different sides. And pretty much you just kind of go into this for answers, and this is summer, and everything's in full bloom. She has a lot more power now. She's doing things with her plants that she hasn't done before, and so they kind of had like this really metaphorical conversation, and at the end they find a bunch of bodies there, and Poison Ivy says, you know what, I don't want to be human. Second thought. And then the next one goes in fall. And the fall and winter are probably the best one. In fall, Batgirl gets the lead to talk to this guy who was dying, Terminal, who was there during the first fall, the goons who was doing that. Well, yeah. And she goes to talk to this guy. And Poison Ivy's there and tags along. And by this time it's fall, and in fall, the leaves, she's starting to turn a little brown and stuff, and pretty much, they go and confront this guy, and this guy tells them that what they're doing is, they're putting this device in them, and that's going to extend their life 6 months. But after 6 months, they take it out, and they give it to a rich person who pays for it. And so pretty much what they're doing is, this device, they're inserting into the device for these people, and the reason they do that is these people need this kind of device needs to be in these people in order for it to kind of grow and be viable and allow people to live permanently. And when that happens, they take it out and they give it to the highest bidder, and they leave these people to die. And pretty much the guy's telling them this, and he's like, what father wouldn't do this to spend more, have 6 more months with the children? And then everyone's like, not every family, both of them say that. And you kind of realize maybe they have a little more in common than they have. And pretty much at the end, they leave, and pretty much they kind of have they have an all-out kind of just this horror kind of conversation thing with Batgirl and Poison Ivy, really just all-out calling each other out. And, Poison Ivy kind of says something that kind of maybe she shows some sympathy, and then, Batgirl is crying, and she pretty says, please spare me. It's like, you don't care about this guy. You only care about if your things bloom, if your flowers are in full bloom. That's all you care about. Like you said, you're not even human. And she says, sad, that's what you said to me, seasonal affective disorder. And she's saying how she's different during the seasons, which I can kind of relate to because, I do the roller coaster thing. But, she kind of tells you that. She says this, and, and then, you could tell Poison Ivy is actually hurt by this. Before, she's not like the typical villain, which is great that she has some more to her, some more characterization. She's not just typical villain like, who cares? She's actually hurt by this. And she said, I have friends. Harley Quinn, she cares for me. And she's like, I thought I would have more, but I guess I was wrong. And then she tries to fight Batgirl. Batgirl just knocks her away. And she's like, you know what? We're not friends. We're never teammates. We're not friends. We probably would never wear anything. And she just takes off. And Poison Ivy does something very sympathetic. She goes to the dying guy and she kind of mercy kills him to prevent him any pain. And she apologizes. And you find out that she had a really awful father, a really just shit father, which I could kind of relate to. But, and you find that out, and it was just a really good moment for Poison Ivy. A lot of characterization there. And then you find the last issue with Winter. And by this time, she knows, Batgirl knows what this guy is who's leading this thing. And she sees Poison Ivy, and Poison Ivy is wilting, pretty much, from the frost. She's not in dire straits. And Poison Ivy is not in good spirits either. She's, really frail, and, Batgirl is concerned. And they confront this guy, and he reveals what they're doing, and finally, what ends up happening is, she's about to arrest him, but the guy tells Poison Ivy, he tried to convince Poison Ivy to turn her, but she's not having it. She's like, call me Poison Ice, and a bunch of ice, roots covered with ice come at him, and Batgirl convinces her not to kill him. She says, don't, for your soul, and she says, that's gone a long time ago, and pretty much the issue ends, this whole thing with Poison Ivy ends where Poison Ivy agrees to go to Arkham Asylum, kind of as a penance for betraying her. I mean, she's like, we're even. But after this, she said, I can feel my power returning, and after this, we're pretty much gonna be enemies. And they know, both of them kind of know this, and they kind of feel sorry about it. They kind of feel a little sorry about it too. You can kind of tell, and they're just like, we're gonna be on different sides, so that's it. And they kind of have a little bit of regret, but they know that's the way it's gonna be. They're gonna be enemies, and that's how this issue ends. This annual was really good. Like I said, I would love to see Gail Simone do a solo Poison Ivy, but whatever. But fantastic, one of the better annuals I've ever read. And last but certainly not least, Justice League 2000 number 6. I love this issue, and like I said, Roger, I can never get his name right. Always, it's him he's the reason I picked it up, and I'm so glad I did. This issue, and I was watching Sleepy Reader's thing, and he's right. I mean, when you look at the coloring and everything, it's just fantastic. I mean, how they capture how different these worlds are. You can feel that they're different from Earth. The coloring is fantastic, but the story-wise, you kind of get a lot more meat and potatoes to everything. You get a lot more development now. Pretty much, Cohibo, they captured the Justice League, and this guy who's a computer, he's trying to kind of get them to break and join their side. He's trying to get them to break and join their side, and he's kind of going to that in their brain in a virtual reality world. But during these conversations, you find that these characters are more than what they were. Like Superman, he's a really narcissistic and stuff, but there's more to him. He has at least a sense of honor with him. He does not gonna betray his friend. He knows what's right and wrong. He's not just a narcissist, and I just that kind of development there is just fantastic to see. But at the same time, you kind of get a hint that maybe he's thinking about joining him because he promised that he could restore his true powers. And then you got, Wonder Woman, and you find out that there's more to her than that. She's not just heartless, savage Amazon who cares nothing. She cares about her teammates. She really cares about them, and she's not going to betray him either. And that was something that you don't see that often. So that was another development. I mean, Batman, like I said, was probably the character that was closest to everyone. And it's the same thing. And so you didn't get a lot of development from him. Batman pretty much was the closest thing to the original Batman in 3000. He's the closest one to that character. I mean, he really calculating, detective. So, he's not buying anything. And then, but Firestorm, you kind of get some interesting development with him. Firestorm he's somewhat sociopathic in a way. He doesn't care. I mean, he really doesn't care. He doesn't want to be on the Justice League. He could care less about the Justice League. And you get the sense that he might actually end up turning to be a villain. And the Justice League 2000 might end up having to put him down. You kind of get that sense because he doesn't care. He's really arrogant and just really, out for himself. So I would be concerned about Firestorm. And so the Flash is back alive again, but he ends up getting captured too. And the thing about it is he doesn't really know where his origin is, what that awful truth would happen, how it came to be. And pretty much, that's not only the issue, but you get another side thing with Green Lantern. Locust, thinks he's dead, and she shrinks him down. She gives him to Ariel, who pretty much came up with the idea to come up with the Justice League 2000. She gives him to him, and she says, make me a new boyfriend or else. Make me one that will obey me. And pretty much the Green Lantern is playing possum. He was really alive. And he finds out another horrible secret, that the power cloak he was given was not the source of his power. The source of his power was within him. I mean, it's within him. They gave him the cloak to control the power. They gave him that cloak so it doesn't overwhelm him and kill him. That's the reason he has the power cloak. And you find that out, and he's slowly dying without the cloak. And so you find that developing, and at the end of the issue, he pretty much just, he does something really, just lays waste to a gigantic thing of land and breaks everyone out, essentially. And that's pretty much how the issue ends. And like I said, it's really great. I mean, you get a lot of development here. You get a lot of meat and sticks, and I'm just eager to see what's going to happen. I'm eager to see what's Firestorm going to do. Is he going to turn his back? What's he going to do exactly? I'm really eager to see that. I'm really eager to see the Flash and Green Lantern, because they don't know how they came into existence, how they are in the year 2000. They don't know. These Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are the only ones that know. Flash and Green Lantern have no idea. So I'm really eager to see when they're told what their reaction is going to be. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that was Justice League 2000. It's fantastic. It's really well written, and it's really well just drawn and colored and everything. It's a treat. I highly recommend everyone pick this up. I remember when I got this, the woman working at the counter was like, "Oh, I just came out. I didn't know." I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty good." She's like, "Yeah, it is." So, but yeah, it's a really fantastic book. Pick it up, folks. Anyway, I had to check something really fast. Oh, bloody hell. I had to delete something, folks. Anyway, I was just deleting the video that I went live on, and I got knocked off. Thunderstorm knocked me off. It kind of always askews my internet. But let's recap, shall we? New Warriors. I would say wait for it in trade, or if you want to see what it's about, let me know and I will give you the digital code. But I wouldn't pick it up. I'll pick it up another issue, and if it doesn't turn it up a notch, it's gonna go bye-bye. So that's my opinions on that. Ninja Turtles, fantastic. It's not action-paced. You catch up with the characters, and it's just a really great father-son thing with dynamic with Katie Jones. I enjoyed it. You definitely won't miss anything if you don't read this, but I would say just check it out. Batgirl Annual #2, definitely really good. Poison Ivy, what Gail Simone did with Poison Ivy in this was so fantastic. Make it happen, DC. Solo Poison Ivy with Gail Simone writing. Make it happen. I would buy that. It's just fantastically, just well done, well illustrated, and I loved how they illustrated Poison Ivy different throughout the seasons, I love that. It was really well done. So definitely check this one out. Read it. Find a way to read it. It's really worth it. And Justice League 2000, what can I say about this? It is fantastic. I enjoyed it ever since its inception. The coloring, the art, story-wise, it's just all good. It's all really good. And yeah, those are my recaps. Pick this up. Those are my recaps. And I usually do some sort of vlog or update, so I mean, hot Cheeto while I do this. But anyway, here, update. Well, what am I up to? Well, first and foremost, and I'm going back because I'm actually decided, I'm going to get the X-Men on Claremont Run eventually. I'm working so many extra shifts at work because I can, and it's summer, and we'll be making a lot more money. So I'm gonna get that eventually, but I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really bought any back issues since C2E2, and that was like freaking 3 weeks ago. I haven't bought any back issues, and it's just, my attention has been diverted pretty much, because I kind of decided that I want to build my Scarlet Spider costume, Ben Reilly. That's one, because I've always loved Ben Reilly's Scarlet Spider. I don't know what it is, I've just always been attracted to that character. I always loved it, and I always wanted to have a costume of it. And so I'm going to decide to put that costume, and that really has diverted me from buying any back issue, and I already more or less got the hoodie done. I mean, there it is. There's the hoodie right here. Ben Riley. Here's I already got the hoodie done right here. So you can tell my Scarlet Spider Ben Riley hoodie right here. I'm not gonna put it on because it's hot, but you can kind of see. You kind of see what I'm saying here. I mean, I got the spider done. You know, I got the sleeves cut off. I got the hood. So definitely, you know, so I got that really done already. So that's, for the love of God. Come on. Come on. You can tell I'm not a clothes model. But yeah, so I got that done. So I'm really happy that I got that done already. So I got the Scarlet Spider hoodie, so I'm really happy about that done. Now, I'm actually gonna get that red spandex suit that you have to get. I'm gonna get that soon as well. I think either by the time this is uploaded, like today or tomorrow or the day after, I'm gonna get that done. I'm also need to make web shooters, and I think what I might do is I might just buy some black. Oh, my fly's open. I might buy some Black Widow bracelets for that. You know, the bullet bracelet Black Widow wears, because no one can really tell. I think I'll just buy that, turn it outside, and spray paint it silver. I don't think anyone would really know the difference, and it could really pass for web shooters. So I think that's what I'm gonna do for there. I need to make the belt. I still need to make the eyes. I already got the ankle pouches. I need to make the eye. That's what I'm most concerned about. But everything else is clear, so I'm waiting for that. I'll probably post it on Twitter, and I may do a Hostess commercial with that. But so that's that. So that's not why I haven't really gotten any back issues lately. Been diverted. Another thing is I really need to show my C2E2 haul. I really have not. I think it's because I've really been waiting to read it. And so that's that. And life updates, nothing new. I mean, nothing really new. But I realize now that I'm realizing now that these are very important. Now, I need those because, folks, I was going through some mild depression about a week ago, and, you know, I forgot to take one of those yesterday, on a Friday. I forgot to take it on a Friday, and when I realized I forgot to take it, I was like, oh, screw this. It's too late. You know, it's too late for this to take this. And I was like, screw this. And I was like, I'm gonna be fine. I'll be fine. The next day, I was not fine. I mean, it was probably a combination of that and a lack of sleep. But when I got up in the morning, oh my God, I was so pissed. Like, I was throwing things, I was yelling and cursing, I was slamming doors, I was kicking, I was like raged out, I was pissed. You know, and then after that, after an hour, about 2 hours later, when I was still really pissed, 2 hours later, I got really severely depressed. Like, really down. Like, I mean, and that was the first time I felt like that ever since I went up to the 100 milligrams, to the dosage that I am now. And, you know, and I got so depressed, like, severely. I mean, we're talking suicidal. That's how bad it was. Like, wanting to throw myself in cars, just not wanting to get out of, you know. And I was at work, need I mind you, being depressed, trying to just get through the day. And I was, oh man, that was really bad. I mean, I'm telling you, I was quiet. I didn't want to be around people. I hated myself. All the feelings. And you people have seen this. If you've been following me long enough, you've seen that. I mean, that guy's not fun to be around. You've seen that. That's how I was that day. I mean, just from a lack of sleep and missing one pill, one dose, that's what happened. And I was like, oh God, no, I need those now. I know, now I learned my lesson. Well, yeah, that was, oh man, that was pretty bad. Another thing is that I'm realizing that stress really affects me too. Because I think it was 2 weeks ago where I had a lot of chaos going on in the week. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on. My brother's graduation, my parents are coming in, my mother's coming into town, and just a bunch of other stuff, you know, which just started going down that week. And, you know, it's just really kind of chaotic and stressful. And I'm realizing that I need to learn how to handle stress and chaos a lot better. because I don't know, I was still taking my medication, but, you know, I got like, I think for half of the week I was depressed. And, not severely depressed, but still more than I'm comfortable with. And I was depressed. Didn't even want to do anything. And then, the second half of the week, I got really, hypomanic, I would say. I mean, I got really high. And like I said, I haven't gotten that high since I've been on the medication. And I got really out there, like, talking fast. And it literally got to the point where we're celebrating my brother graduating. And and it's my older brother. We're at a steakhouse, and I'm like this, and thankfully, my brother kind of just told me, like, Adrian, you need to calm down, man. It's way too much. It's just too much, man. You have to calm down. And I'm glad he said that, because I'm good at spotting depression, but when I get into the mania or hypomania, I'm not good at spotting that. And when he told me that, I was like, oh crap. I kind of stopped for a minute. I kind of started thinking. And I was like, oh wait, what's going on? My brain was going faster. I couldn't sit still. I was shifting around. I was like, oh no. And I realized I was talking faster because people told me I was talking too fast. And I also realized that I had pressured speech. And I never thought I had pressured speech before, but I realized I did, because pressured speech is not only are you talking fast, but it's like you feel the need to talk. You feel the need to talk about anything or any random thing that you it's almost like a compulsion to talk. And I was doing it. I was like, oh my god, I'm talking about random things here. This, thought shaker, this, and I'm talking loud. And when I'm realizing that, I was like, oh god, I'm having an episode. I'm like, oh jeez. And so I had to try to find a way to calm myself down, try to get myself down. And it went on for a few more days, but because my brother told me, I was able to recognize that, not do anything too rash. But, so yeah, it's definitely not stable yet. I need to handle stress better. And so that's another life update. Channel update. I mean, what can I really say? Things are going the way they're going, and, one, I had to do my C2E2 haul. In fact, probably will film that later. I already got Epic Unlimited Comic Books number 17 filmed and uploaded, unlisted, till I feel like listing it public. I got, like, at least one, like, two sort of mental health or vloggy stuff that I do now, uploaded that are unlisted. I'm also gonna probably do the Epic Unlimited Comic, the last one is probably gonna be done soon, relatively soon. And, I also really have something planned for the ending for that as well. Something planned for the ending that's gonna require a little more time. But yeah, other than that, I pretty much have I'm gonna have like a backlog of a lot of video. Oh, and I also filmed the contest that I'm gonna do already. I got that done already too, and that's ready to go. But there's so many fucking contests. I mean, what, CJ? And yeah, it's like so many contests right now. I'm just like, fuck this, screw that. It's like, I'll put that on the back burner and wait a little bit before I upload that. Give some people a breather, So, I have a contest video, I have that done. And the reason I tell you this, folks, and this is where it maybe gets a little depressing or a little, it depends what you say, a little bad or horrible, but, wow, I'm realizing I'm really muscular. But this is what I'm realizing is that, I'm kind of not really feeling YouTube right now, folks. To be perfectly honest. I mean, I'm not really feeling it. And when I say that, I mean, I just feel really disinterested in it. Like, my interest level just isn't there anymore. I mean, like this, for example, I just wanted to talk about these books. That's why I did this. But it's like, my interest level just isn't really there. I mean, I just find myself not really caring, about making videos or doing that. And, that's why I have, like, a backlog of stuff. And, I really, like I said, I have things filmed and I have a backlog of videos. And I think the reason I say this is because I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably gonna maybe start kind of watch from the sidelines, for a bit. Just like stay around the sidelines, or as I like to call it, I'm pretty much gonna be a shadow. I'm gonna be like a shadow that never dies. That's not really there, but that's still there, but not really there. It exists, but it doesn't really exist. But it's not really there. And that's kind of what I think I'm gonna do. Kind of just be like an undying shadow that's there, but not really there, and not really active. I just, what I'm saying? And that's the reason I have like a backlog of books. I figure when I'm not really gonna, I just, until my interest level returns, and since I have a lot of things filmed already, I just figure that, since I have all these things filmed, I'll just kind of, just watch from the sidelines, whatever, and just upload these backlog of videos that I have. Just upload them once or twice, upload a video once or twice a week, and just have that there that I already done, already filmed, and just upload that while I don't film anything or do anything new. So that's probably going to be the plan. So there will probably be new videos coming, but but I'm not going to be really doing anything new. They already exist. Those films and everything already exists. I already got that done. So I'm not really going to do anything new. And like I said, the reason for that is I'm just not feeling YouTube. I'm just like, I just really don't have a lot of interest in it, and I have like a disinterest in it. I don't have like the desires in there, and I'm pretty sure the desire will come back again. It always does. Yeah, just take care, everyone, and yeah.